So in this prototype, I used the top-down template, and as you'll see, the mouse cursor has a decal on the floor, and that world location is being used to calculate the distance of the mouse cursor in relation to each of these individual geometric actors. And based on that distance, I'm affecting the scale of that actor. Now, in developing this, I ran into a problem that the map arranged clamp node fixed. So we'll go into how that works in a moment. I just did this as a potential website UI that could be exported from Unreal Engine as WebGL. So just an experiment. And let's have a look at the blueprint node. So if we look at one of our geometric actors and we go into that actor blueprint, one of the problems that I was running into was that because I was calculating the position of my top-down cursor, which effectively was on the floor of that world, and getting the distance between that mouse cursor position and my geometric actor, i.e. self, that distance gets returned as a float. It works out the distance between these two vectors. That float can then in theory be quite a large number. If it's right across the world, it can be running into the thousands. So I just want to dampen that down into a range where my scale doesn't kind of blow out, basically, so that it's controlled. If we look at what that effect is, what you'll see is that when I move my mouse cursor towards that actor, because the distance decreases, obviously the scale decreases, but I want the opposite. So that's when I thought, okay, hang on a minute, but maybe I can kind of use our map range clamped node to work at an opposing range. So this will make sense. So as you'll note, my value that's being dampened down goes into that first value pin. Now this is where I've played around with the values. So rather than it being ascending in both ranges, so the in ascending and the out ascending, you'll note that my A to B is descending. It's going from 1 to 0, whereas my out is ascending. It's going from 0.5 to 1.5. And I'm clamping those values so that I'm controlling the scale at which the geometric shape appears in our map. So I thought I'd try that and see if it worked. And as the mouse gets further away from the actor, but when it gets closer, it scales it up. So I was thinking about this for a WebGL UI, where you could then obviously add an interaction and links within each of these objects. So using the map range clamped in this way, it did all the maths for me in terms of, I was trying to work out how to do it manually and I couldn't get my head around it, and then I just thought, hang on a minute, but if I change the figures around here, will it invert the interaction? And it worked. So, I think map range clamped is really, really powerful. Obviously, you can input what your range is and output it to any other range, and it will scale proportionately based on the value being within the in range, and then output accordingly. So there's lots to play around with. For example, if I make that to 0 and I want the geometric actor, i.e. this actor that we're in, self, to disappear completely from the screen or perceptibly disappear, then I can make that 0 in the out. And maybe I want to make it bigger when I'm closer So hopefully that's of use. If these videos are giving you some value, then please do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. So thank you for your support.